much. I am incredible. I have these powerful women, beautiful women, driven women. So honored. Hello, Amanda. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. I'm great. Let me real quick introduce myself in case people are just checking in. My name is Scott Black. I'm the host of Like It Matters Radio. They call me Mr. Black. I help people maximize the potentials they were created with. I'm also CEO of Like It Matters Leadership Training. And for over 32 years, almost 33, I've led transformational leadership training across 3 countries, helping tens of thousands of people unlock their potential and live with purpose. I'm a certified human behavioral consultant or specialist, whatever you want to call it, a master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, working knowledge in transactional analysis, cognitive behavioral therapy, and emotional intelligence. I'm also an ordained pastor. I love my prison work. I go inside and spend time over 4 days in Kairos. I also train for prison fellowship as a certified trainer. I've authored several books, 180 Ways to Live Your Life Like It Matters, Becoming Your Dreams, Want It, Create It, Live It. And you'll, if you ever get to know me, whether I'm in the classroom or behind this microphone or working one on one, my mission never changes. I know why I'm here. It's to empower others to live their lives like it matters. And so I'm honored to be selected as an interviewer for this international summit featuring 100 plus inspirational stories of transformation and rebirth. And today you're going to hear from this incredible woman, this woman of power and strength. Her name's Amanda Harris. Lady Poet Speaks, Amanda Harris. She's a Cleveland native, domestic violence survivor, poet, author, fierce advocate for women, a survivor of abuse since the age of 7. She's transformed her pain into purpose, empowering others through her books, podcasts, and motivational speaking. She's the author of Back from Bondage, How I Broke Free, In His Eyes, Finding My Way Back to God, Letters to My Mother, She Is, and Secrets of a Survivor, each written to inspire healing and hope for survivors. Through her podcast, Open Letters to a Survivor, she has 50 plus episodes. Lady Poet Speaks continues to be a bold voice for justice, healing, and empowerment. Her mission is to show that trauma doesn't define you. You define yourself. What a beautiful tagline. Welcome, Amanda, to Rebirth TV. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I am great. Thank you so much.
You are great. I can tell. I can tell. So, we got to start where God starts in the beginning. So, give us a little bit of your background, your child, family of origin, if you will.
Okay, so my origin starts, I've always been a parentified child. So I grew up in a household where both parents had mental health problems. My father was a schizophrenic. My mother had bipolar 1 issues. So for those of you who don't know, like at the age of 8 years old, I was sent into kinship care. And so for those of you who don't know what kinship care is when you're placed in foster care, but you're with family. And so being in that environment, I began to become a victim of human trafficking. And within that human trafficking, it lasted for years. So not only were these people supposed to be raising me in this kinship care, but they were also supposed to be like spiritual people and going to church and, in church every Sunday, but Monday through Saturday, subjecting me to the domestic violence. And so even though I was a 4.0 student, when you get that label as trouble because you're angry, everybody automatically considers you're angry. You're an angry child, no matter if you got an A on the test, nobody wants to listen to you because, again, you're angry, you're acting out. Nobody believes in your story. They just put you by the wayside. And so I just had to realize that, I was removed from a father who was abusive because the voices told him to do it, a mother who had mood swings, and then leaving there and going into another toxic environment. So that's
Mm.
how it all started from the ages of 8 to 19 years old. Were really when all the pain and all the abuse started and took over my life.
And it started affecting who you thought you were because what happens to us, we have a tendency to attach to our identity. And we got to be careful not to attach our behavior to our identity. We got to be very careful what we attach to our identity because it affects every other belief system we have. But something happened. The pain became so great, or someone came into your life, or something happened that said, okay, enough's enough. I'm tired of not being enough, and God or something created a different venue. What changed? What happened that caused you to say there's a different path here?
So my breaking point, what caused me to change was I reached a breaking point. So again, at
Yeah.
19 years old, I found myself in a YWCA. So for most people, being in the shelter would be a bad thing, but for me, it became my saving grace and my breaking point. And I found myself detached from the world, walking down the street on a day that's supposed to be one of the most holiest days of the year, which was Good Friday, in extreme rain with no umbrella with the knife in my hand, wanted to just end it all. I was soaked, I was drenched. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. And it was Good Friday of 2012. I remember it like it was yesterday, which was 13 years ago. And one of my mentors actually called me, and it was her calm voice that told me to go back home and to sit down, and that I didn't need to go into that next step and being violent, and giving that compassion let me know that I was okay. And so
Mm.
just by having that, that was my transformation. Just somebody speaking to me when I didn't even want to listen. And I had detached myself from the world and everybody around me.
Yeah, dissociated. It happens. You know, life's an undulating line. It has highs and lows. And when we stop, we've been disappointed so much we stop dreaming. And you went through so much pain. You actually went numb to the pain.
Right.
And you started feeling like this is, I guess, just who I am. This is my lot in life. And you got a chance to scratch that CD to break that LP. Let me ask you, that's when transformation started, but it's been taking place over these 13 years. What does your transformation feel like? I mean, do you feel different? Do you approach things different? What did the transformation feel like once it really started taking hold?
Okay, so when my transformation first started, it felt like breaking and breaking in places that I never thought could break. So my transformation was nights figuring out what the morning would look like, not wanting to get out of the bed, but proving to myself every morning that getting out of the bed was worth it. My transformation was something, meant something to me. And by that, I started speaking life into other people. And so before I even knew what my identity was, it was taken away because I was so young. So my transformation taught me that I am, as some of you know that parable, that even though I was a cracked pot, I was still watering seeds of other people.
Man,
I
that's
needed
good.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I needed to grow others to grow myself. So my transformation is what birthed into who I am today. So I'm not as angry as I used to be. I used to be where I would go into rages and I would be angry, and but now I'm, able to smile, able to talk, and not angry at things where I need to just try to prove myself because I felt like I didn't have a voice. So even when my voice shakes, I'm still
Yeah.
able to stand up and tell my story.
Yeah. You know what happened is, there's an epidemic hitting this country. It's called helpless and hopeless. It's depression. And you had no reason to get out of bed. If every day, helpless says, my life sucks today and tomorrow will be no different. But what you did, somehow a seed of hope was planted. And hope says, no matter how bad my life is today, tomorrow can be better. And something got a hold of you. You know this, man. Something got a hold of you that you said, there's a reason to get out of bed, that I'm not the same person. I am no longer going to be defined by what has happened to me. I'm going to start controlling what is happening in me. And you worry about the words you're saying, all that. You got a beautiful testimony. You don't have to, you can throw those pieces of paper away because you can see in your soul, you can see in your heart. Look how you light up when you're just encouraged. You've been put down all your life. You're a powerful woman. God said you're made for greater than this. And whenever I feel overwhelmed by life like you did, I always think, what did they do to Jesus? He's my rabbi. I'm covered in the dust of my rabbi. He's my rabbi. And so, what did they do to him? And man, why wouldn't that happen to me? And you are such an inspiration, Amanda. You got to know this. So many people, not just women, but so many people have been through, are going through what you've been through. And was there anybody in particular that really helped you? Was there any, I know God absolutely couldn't have done this without God. But was there any human or anything else that happened that really helped you propel yourself from the bitterness to the betterness?
Yes. And so, like you said, first and foremost, it was reclaiming who God was for me. Because when
Amen.
you're told and God is used as some sort of manipulator, you have to reclaim who God is for us.
Amen.
And then I'm a firm believer, and also that I have God, but I have a therapist too. So finding,
Amen.
so
Yeah.
finding a therapist that was able to go into the trenches with me and
Yeah.
sit there and say, okay, let's process it this way. to help. It was the team. Of course, I said I had somebody who talked calmly into me when I detached from the world. And it was that. It's having a group of friends that we call ourselves the Sensational Seven now, because we build a group of support. So it was them. It was somebody who adopted themselves as my aunt, who on August 3rd, 2008, again saved me from my first suicide attempt. So it was those people in life who still to this day I'm grateful for, because without them, there would be no me at this point.
Mhm.
So
You have these dates in your heart. They're not in your head, Amanda. They're in your heart. These are all lines in the sand. We're saying the next level, the next level. You have such a story. God's going to use it to touch so many lives. I've been doing this for 33 years, and your story is what people need to hear because you're living it. Again, I like to say you got the street cred. You can look us on the eye and shake their head, say, I know your pain. I know what it's like to be enough, not to be enough, not to be pretty enough, not to be rich enough, not to be black enough or white enough, not to be tall enough, not right. You got tired, and the world said you weren't enough, that you could only be used for its pleasure, and you said, that's not who I am. That might have been what happened to me, but that's not who I am. That is so powerful. So, where are you at now in your journey? You're not stuck in the past anymore. So, where are you at now in your journey?
So I'm still in the process of being on that journey to wholeness and breaking free from every cycle that tried to break me. So everybody, all the voices, all the people who said I couldn't do it, I'm standing here today and still telling that story. I'm becoming who I was meant to be all along, and that is bold, walking authentically through the power, telling my story, and realizing that I am not a victim, but I'm victorious. I'm not damaged, but I'm destined for greatness. That no matter how wounded I felt that I was, I am worthy of the fight. And I'm learning that my imperfections are perfect for me, and that even in my grace is determination to keep me going. And I am becoming all that I'm meant to be. I'm a survivor, thriver, and I'm worthy of everything great. And that's what I tell people when I speak to them, that just like I had to find my worth, you can find yours too.
Amen. That's so powerful. And not just the words, because words are only 7% of communication. It's 93% is everything else. Your conviction, your belief. That's what matters so much. And yeah, God uses all. You know how many people have your fingerprints? Nobody. You know how many people have your DNA? Nobody. Matter of fact, there are 40 some things now that we've identified from someone's gait to the voice qualities that are unique to every human being. But let me tell you what else is unique, our pain and what we do with that pain to realize God's purpose. And you figure that out so much younger than someone like me. It took me 50 years, and you don't look a day over 29. So I don't know how, maybe 22, I don't know. But I'm just it's an incredible story. So I assume now you're helping people. You're taking, and is your big thing to take people's bitterness, the pain that was done to people, and help them use it to make them better? I mean, is that what you're doing with your past now?
Yes. So what I do is number one, today I'm a speaker, I'm a poet, I have a podcast, I'm a founder of a podcast called Open Letters to a Survivor, where we actually create a safe space for people to come on and tell their stories of survival. Just giving them a safe space because mental health is not highlighted. And so to have a safe space where they can talk about the problems of mental health that they've come. I'm conquering depression and PTSD to let them know that if I can do it, they can too. I'm helping girls with a program called Saving Virtue Foundation who were considered at risk, who may have been trafficked just like me. The only thing that we have is our virtue, so we have to save it. Um, I've graduated with a degree in HR and general management. I am a chemical dependency counselor and a qualified mental health specialist, helping people break free from addiction. The same thing that I needed to get I broke free from over 12 years. So that is what I do now. And I also have a program called um, Purpose Gifts LLC, where we help people turn their pain into books. I'm an author of 5 books, turning my pain into purpose, and so I help them do the same thing.
You're teaching all of us. It's not what happens to us in life, it's how we deal with it. You've reframed. You take something that's bad and you put a different frame around it, so it has a different impact. And people need to see that nowadays with podcasts and books and all that. They need to see you, a living, breathing human being who's paid the price in tears, in probably blood and all that, and you've overcome. It doesn't diminish what people have been through. But you're one of those people that can come beside people and teach them to stand firm. Proverbs 24:16 says, a righteous man will stumble 7 times, righteous woman will stumble 7 times, but get back up. But the wicked, they stumble to ruin. And look how you pick yourself up, dust yourself off over and over again. And that's what's missing today. So let me ask you in closing, what message do you have for someone that's still in that pain, that bitterness, and wondering why God, why God? What's your message to them?
So I actually wrote this message down because this
Okay.
is some stuff that I would have said to myself and that I have said to myself on my podcast. So I just want to close with that. And I would tell someone experiencing what I went through, that's to hold on, to not give up in the fight, because there's always purpose in our pain. And that even when our resilience feels broken, it's in those darkest moments that the shift happens. Healing is not always pretty or linear, and it doesn't always feel good. But remember that diamonds form under pressure and extreme heat, that olives have to be pressed to release its oil, and that seeds have to be broken to grow. So to myself and anyone out there healing, remember it's in the breaking that we grow. So feel it, live it, and heal it, because you are worthy and you are worth it. And on the other side of hell is healing.
Hey, oh my gosh, you're awesome. I don't care what you say about yourself. You're okay. You're really good. I used to say this to myself all the time. I've met the enemy and he's living in my shorts. Because if other people said to me what I used to say to myself, I'd kick their butts. And you realize it's how we talk to ourselves, what we're willing to believe. The greatest commandment in the Bible, what God says over and over, is to remember. And I learned a long time ago, leaders remember the right things, not the stuff that was done to you, but remember who you are. And last time I checked, a daughter of a king is called a princess. And so, thank you, Princess Amanda, for sharing your passion, your pain, the journey. Your journey is such a beacon of hope. So, God bless you. I look forward to the time that our paths cross again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda, for sharing your heart and your powerful story. So, this has been another incredible conversation from the Rebirth Summit 2025, Stories of Unyielding Courage and Hope. I'm Scott V. Black, and it's been an honor to host this interview with Amanda as part of this global movement for healing and transformation. Wisdom tells us that we cannot control what happens to us in life, but we have absolute control over what happens in us. Pain is a part of life, and what makes us unique, besides our fingerprints and our DNA, is how we deal with the pain of life. We can allow it to make us bitter, or we can choose to use it to make us better. And just like Amanda, we can take whatever life throws at us and use it to help others. We use our street cred